What's up everyone? Welcome or welcome back to the Marketing Nomad YouTube channel. I am the Marketing Nomad. Alrighty, so I took a couple of days off from work, which is why you haven't seen me around here in probably a week and a half. Alright, and I'm back. And okay, so much has happened in the 1.5 weeks that I took off from work. So many thoughts, so many different things that I want to share with you. And we're gonna do it one video at a time. All right, so I thought I'd come on here because something really nice happened to me yesterday and I wanted to share it with you. So let's get into it. But before that, I kind of have to give a little bit of a backstory. So some of you may know, some of you may have read my book, some of you may have watched previous videos on my YouTube channel. But one thing that I have always said is my life has been a series of transformation, one after the other, so much so that people who have known me in one phase of my life might not necessarily recognize me in the next phase of my life. And you know, now I think on a more spiritual sense, I get that maybe some souls do take it upon them to have these multiple transformations within one lifetime, whereas other souls may not choose to do so. Because I think at one point in my life, I would look at other people and be like, you know, they've kind of stayed the same all through. You know, why is it that I have all of these external things happening around me, pushing me to have this massive and deep transformation, so much so that sometimes I find myself unrecognizable as well, and I have to relearn who I am. And that's happened multiple times in my life, so much so that my spirit animal is actually a butterfly, just because of the intense transformations that's happened in my life multiple times. All right, so on a spiritual sense, you know, I've kind of made peace with that. At least I have begun to. This is something that, I don't know, I was exposed to, I think, about this year, early this year. I was going through something on Instagram, and then there was this one post that said, you know, some souls, they do take it upon them to have multiple transformations in the same lifetime, whereas other souls, not necessarily. It's no right or wrong. It's just what your soul chose for this lifetime. And yeah, that actually brought me a lot of peace. And I didn't realize how much peace that brought me until yesterday. All right, so I hadn't given it much thought until yesterday. So yesterday, I went to a meeting, and there would have been a past version of me that would have absolutely loved this meeting. All right, it would have been so aligned to that past version of me, but this version of me, not so much. It was out of my comfort zone, yes, but at the same time, it just didn't feel aligned anymore. And I can't even say it was out of my comfort zone, because somewhere at the back of my mind, I was like, yeah, I've done this before. My past self would have absolutely loved this. So it wasn't even out of my comfort zone, because I could easily tap back into the energy of my past self and then channel that energy. Yes, I would have, but it just didn't feel aligned anymore. And for a moment over there, I'm sitting in the meeting and I'm like, my past self would have loved this, but it's just not aligned to me anymore. And I just looked around like that, and for that moment, I felt like this pang of sadness. Just that for that one split second, I was like, oh, how much has changed, or how much have I changed? And that's it. That was it for that moment, okay? Then I've kind of hurt my toe really badly, so I can't really drive right now. So I had to take an Uber back home. And as I was taking the Uber back home, I was just like, you know, resting, and I was being very calm. And suddenly, you know, whatever thoughts happened in the meeting, it kind of came to my mind. And in that moment, I heard myself talking to myself like, it's okay. It's okay that your current version doesn't feel aligned to that anymore. It's okay, you know. At one point, you would have loved it. At one point, you probably would have wished for this, but you're not that person anymore. And there's no right or wrong in whichever versions of yourself that you have been through. And you know, there's so much of love that you have for your past self. You remembered her today, and that by itself is so, you're sending back love, you know, you're sending back that thought that, you know, you would have loved this. But there's also the acknowledgement that needs to come, the love that needs to come for the version that you are today, you know, that it no longer aligns, and that's okay too. You are still loved by yourself. There is a deep sense of acceptance that this no longer aligns. And I don't know, that Uber ride home, it was so peaceful for me. Just these thoughts flooding into me that, some people, they do have multiple transformations in their life. It's not right or wrong. It's what your soul chose. You chose to be different versions of yourself. Yes, dramatic transformations. Yes, sometimes you may feel sad that it was external circumstances that made you the person that you are today. Sometimes, it could be your own thoughts, your own desires pushing you to create that massive transformation in yourself. For me, it's been both actually, and it's been other reasons as well. And so whatever those reasons may be, in the past, at least before this year, I think that there was a part of me that always felt sad. Like, okay, well, because of so-and-so circumstance, I am like this, or I have become like this. And there was nothing right or wrong in how I had become. I had just changed. That's it. I just probably evolved in my soul's journey, transformed in my soul's journey, but there was no right or wrong in how I had been and how I was at this point in time. And I don't know, just that realization yesterday that you've come to terms with what's happened and why you are the way that you are today, the multiple transformations that you've been through in your life, giving love to every single past version of yourself while also loving the present version. Like, just because you loved who you were in the past does not mean you don't love who you are in the present. It's not mutually exclusive. And I feel like this was a very beautiful lesson that I learned personally. And it started out in Jan. Like I told you, I saw this post on Instagram, I think it was sometime in January, and it took this long for it to sink in. I hadn't really consciously thought about it or, focused too much about it, but looks like my subconscious was working on it. And I think that there was a lot of, in that moment, in that Uber ride home, I could kind of feel this reconciliation within me that it's okay, it's okay. This version of you, whatever has happened, however you are the way that you are, because of whatever happened, it was meant to happen that way. You chose this path for yourself. You chose to become this version of yourself, which means before you came here, you saw this version of yourself and you pointed that and you say, I want to be that version. I love her. She's amazing. I want to be that version of her. And that by itself, I don't know. It just brought so much of joy to me. I really have struggled with this in the past, where I would be so angry, so sad that, the current version of myself is not the past version. And I'll keep crawling back to my past version. But it took me some time to realize that there's no right or wrong. All right. There is no, first off, there is a purpose why you are where you are at today, the version of yourself that you are today. And second, the reason why you're here is so that you can keep moving forward, so that you can get to the next place of where you are meant to go. So there's no point in crawling backwards, because that's not where you're headed. So that's also one more thing that I understood. Like, my past version or versions of myself, they were very much needed. I needed to be that version of myself to get to the next past version of myself, to get to, and so on and so forth, like ... multiple transformations to the present version of myself. And yeah, I know that there are going to be future self versions of me probably coming back to this video and looking back at how far I've come as well. And I know that there are going to be transformations. There are going to be, including this year alone, I feel like I've lived 12 lifetimes in 12 months. I am not kidding you. It really feels like that. I am absolutely unrecognizable from the person that I was exactly at this time. Okay, maybe October of 2024. And so that by itself, I know that there are going to be future self versions of me that I will probably, not recognize. There'll be such a massive evolution or such a massive transformation within me, but I want to hold space for them as well. I want to hold love for them as well. I kind of give that love to them, regardless of what reasons may have been to have created that evolution or that transformation. So I think that's also one thing that I want to add on to what I was thinking yesterday. Like, yes, I have love for my past self versions, different of them. I also want to hold space and have love for my future self versions, because I might not be able to recognize them today, but I still want to hold space. I still want to have love for them as well. So I wanted to share this with you because I feel like there are certain souls that go through massive transformations in their lifetime, right? In one lifetime. And you might look around, looking at other people who kind of stay more or less consistent throughout a very significant period of their life, or a very long chunk of their life. Whereas you, like I said, like for me, like in 1 year, I have seen so much of like unrecognizable transformation within myself. And imagine that over the past so many years, right? So I feel like certain souls do choose that path. There's no right or wrong. It's just what you decided to do in this lifetime. And especially when you're on this path, you can look at other people and say, well, there aren't that many past versions of themselves, or there aren't that many future versions of themselves. They're more or less, it's easy to reconcile the past and the future versions of themselves. Whereas because there's this massive transformation that's continuously happened within you, within your soul, in like such a short period of time. Well, time is relative, so comparatively, it can feel hard to reconcile with those past self versions of yourself, and even the present version of yourself. It might be very hard to accept, and I've struggled with that. I definitely have. And I just wanted to share that with you because it's a very real thing to struggle with. It's a very real thing to, think about and feel sad sometimes that, I've changed so much because of so-and-so event. And sometimes it can be a very, very painful event. Sometimes the reason why you transform can be because of a source of pain, but eventually it leads you to peace. But then you still have that at the back of your mind, right? Like, I changed because of that pain. And I feel like if we keep holding on to that, it pulls us back even more. We keep crawling back to the past self version. Instead, if we release that, like, yes, I had to go through this transformation because of pain, or because of external circumstances that forced me to, but I'm here today and I'm loved by myself. This version of me, there's a reason why my soul saw her, or him or her, or they, and saw, her, I'm speaking about myself, like saw her and said, I want to be that version of myself. I love that version of me. I love who she is at that point in time, and I'm going to choose that for myself. So, just having that thought that I chose this version of myself today, and I have chosen every single past versions of myself. I have chosen every single future version of myself before I even came into this lifetime. Honestly, makes me feel very loved, and I wish that for you as well. All right, I wish for the kind of acceptance that I've grown to understand about my present self and the version of myself that I am living today, and reconciling with my past self, reconciling also with my future self, holding space and love for my future self as well. I wish that for you as well. All right, so that was it was such a beautiful, the entire Uber journey. I think I'll remember it for the rest of my life. It was so, I literally just slid back, and I was just deep in thought, but also feeling this very, very warm sense of love enveloping me, probably my higher self, or probably my past self versions, sending me love, or maybe my future self versions sending me love. But I felt very, very loved in that moment of time, and I wanted to share that with you. I wanted to share that experience, and I wish that for you as well, right? So yeah, if this video has, changed your thoughts about something that you've been through, or your past self, your present self, or even the thoughts that you have about your future self, definitely let me know in the comment section. I'm so excited to hear from you. And yeah, if you liked this video, please do give me a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, because that tells you every single time I do upload a YouTube video. And yeah, take care, and I'll catch you in my next one. Bye bye.